Hello and welcome back to the channel. So, got some projects to work on this weekend. First one's being the electrical system. I got a DC to DC charger that I'm going to be installing in my van. That way I can get battery power to my house batteries while I am driving. So, got that to work on. I'm also going to fix, or attempt to fix, hopefully, the I think my current charge controller, when I installed the charge controller, I just hooked it up to the existing wires that were there, but I believe the negative wire was not run quite properly. Whoever installed that stuff originally ran the negative ground wire directly to the house batteries rather than hooking it up to the negative bus bar. And I believe this is what's causing my shunt and my BMS to incorrectly read my state of charge. Basically, my state of charge goes down and never up. Why? Because the charge controller negative is not being routed through the shunt for the BMS to be able to detect that incoming charge. So we're going to go ahead and get that fixed today as well. Alright, so before we can start on that, I need to get all the crap emptied out from under the bed. So we'll go ahead and get started on that, and then I'll check with you in a moment. Alright, so I think I'm going to go ahead and start on the easier of the two first, which is basically going to be getting my BMS rewired correctly just through the negative wire. So if we look at the Victron app, what we're going to see is when we look at the Smart BMV, it's currently using a power draw of roughly 1.2 amps. That's going to be the top one. And if we look at the solar power currently coming in, it's currently coming in at a rate of about 4 amps. Now I believe what this should be reading once everything's wired correctly is it's going to be that 1.2 amps being used, subtracted from the 4 and now 4.5, almost 5 amps coming in, should be what the current is actually going to read on the BMS. But we'll find that out here in a moment. Alright, so pretty much going to start with just shutting the battery off. So that's going to cut the entire electrical system. And then the other thing I'm going to do, because my charge controller is still active and trying to send power, is we're going to go ahead and shut off the panels as well. That should take care of, yep, see, so lights off, everything's off, well, mostly off. It'll be off enough. So we're going to take and cut this cable right here and connect this to the negative bus bar here. Kind of like so. Ooh. That was trippy. For everything's supposed to be shut off. I'm just going to let that hand tighten for now, because that's the same post I'm going to put my DC converter on as well, which I plan on mounting probably right there. It's about the only spot left on this entire board. Alright, so now when we look at our Victron app, we can see 0 currents going out, 0 currents coming in. So now we can turn on the battery. Alright, now that the battery's on, we can see on the smart BMV, you can see that the current is now shot up to about 3.5 amps. So now we're going to turn on the solar. Solar is in. Currently pulling in 12 amps. But check it out. Now the current on the BMS is showing a positive current instead of a negative current. So it's actually now factoring in the charge coming in off of the charge controller, which is what we wanted. Which now means my state of charge should start actually going up for once. So now that the BMS is all fixed up, it's time to turn our attention to installing the DC to DC charger. Alright, so an interesting thing about the Transit van, hopefully you can see this, on the side of the driver's seat towards the rear, so context here is the driver door, steering wheel, and then just right here on the sidewall, right under the driver's seat, there's this little box. It has a cover on it. I don't know if you can see that little silver tip right there is what they call a customer connection point. What that is it's a fused line, 60 amps, basically a 60 amp hot connection point. It's always on. So I think what we're going to do is see if we can tap our DC to DC charger right onto that guy right there. So I think we're going to start just with running wire all the way to that front connection point, all the way back to where we're going to put the charger. We're just going to get one line, run up to the front. I got the non-isolated DC to DC charger because basically everything in here all shares the same ground, so wasn't no need for a non-isolated, and it saved me about $30 or $40 extra. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to run the hot line all the way up to the front, all the way to the back to where I'm planning on putting the charger. I'll start cutting all my cable lengths, and then we'll start putting all our connectors on and start getting her wired up. Alright, so this is what I have for wall space. That's about the only spot left, so guess where that DC to DC charger is going? Yep, right there. Now it's really kind of too bad that this is on there so just stiff, because I would have liked to have gotten this a little bit higher, but having it right there didn't poke too much. There we go. But anyway, That should still give me enough room to get my wires under there where I need them. So that's where that's going to go, right there. Alright. This might get a wee bit loud. And it's in. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is start working on cutting the wires. So I got this wire going all the way to the front already, so I'm going to cut that so that way it's ready to get plugged right into here. Then we're going to take another piece of the red wire to run it from here up to the bus bar, probably right here. Then we're going to cut a piece of black to go up to the bus bar here. And then once everything's connected here, then we'll hook it up front. We'll get that connection up front ready to go. And then yeah, once everything's hooked up and ready, that'll plug it in up at the front, and that'll be that. Getting exciting. That will work. Alright, so I think for this portion we're going to come inside and sit down for a little bit and really make sure that we're going to do this right. So, welcome to the inside of my parents' home. So basically what I'm going to do, I just got the two short pieces that are going to connect the charger into the house electrical. Basically these are going to go from the charger to the bus bars. So we're going to strip one end open. That's going to be the part that's going to go into the screw end of the charger. Ideally you'd probably want to put ferrules or something on the end of these. I forgot to order some and I'm not waiting another week. I need to get this done and going. That's something that I can certainly add at a later time. And then on the other side, we're going to put lugs. We're going to lug the other side, and then this will connect to the bus bars. That's a little better. Okay, so now we're going to start fastening down the crimper just until it starts to grab the lug. I'm going to crimp that the rest of the way down. Good grip. And we're going to take the heat shrink, or the heat tubing. Probably want a little bit bigger than that. Then we're going to take our handy dandy jet boil stove. And that doesn't take much at all. Poof, sucked right up on there. Just the way we want it. And then just rinse and repeat for the black. And then we'll be ready to start hooking stuff up. Okay, so I'm a moron. I just recorded, or thought I had recorded, connecting up all these wires to the charger, and I hadn't done jack. So anyway, so all the wires are connected to the charger, so I'm gonna go research what order we need to connect these to the system in, because as of right now they're all just, you know, ends waiting to get connected to things, and I'm pretty sure there's going to be a specific order that we got to do this in. So I'll go get that research and I'll be right back. All right, so got all the directions checked out, and I should shut this off. And you're supposed to connect the positive to the starter battery first. So I've got that side connected already. Didn't video it. Honestly, it was kind of a pain in the ass. So hooking the negative up to this should activate the charger, and then we can configure the battery and then hook that part up. So if we open up our Victron app, we can see now that the Victron Orion DC to DC charger is now showing up in the list. Okay, 6, Okay, so I think hopefully I figured out what the damn problem was. This doesn't ship with the default Victron pin code, I guess. Actually, there's one in the box, so we're going to try that. Okay, that's better. Alright, so updates, updates, and updates. It's the first thing you should probably do anytime you install one of these. Firmware updates will add sometimes new features to the hardware and things like that. So yes, enable instant readout. I like instant readouts. Alright, so we're going to change it to charger mode because that's what we want to use it for. We're going to go into battery settings. We're going to go to preset smart lithium, already detected, good. Which is funny because maybe just pulled it out of my other settings. Alright, so we are good there. Smart alternator, yes. Alright, and I think we are set. So now, what we're going to do, connect this side. Alright, so I forgot one crucial little thing. Got to plug this guy in. And that just goes somewhere right there. Now we'll go ahead and fire it up. Alright, so the van is running. DC to DC charger is installed, and as you can hopefully see by the phone that hopefully I'm going to be able to make pop up on the screen through all this video, it's functioning, so I'm pretty happy with the outcome. On to the next project. So I certainly hope you enjoyed today's videos. If you did, please go ahead and give the video a thumbs up. It helps us out greatly in terms of YouTube algorithms and things like that. Till then, see you in the next one.